What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the sniper rifle from the Pale Heart with those beautiful dealer's choice weapons with the embraced identity. This is a nice little 46 zoom, a sniper rifle, very good for the PvE realm, no doubt. I personally don't like the 46 zoom, feels a little bit too much for me inside of the Crucible. One of the reasons why I like Defiance of Yasmin just more than even something like Eye of Soul, because it's only at 40 zoom, so that is a total personal preference, but we will cover the god rolls for you guys for both PvE, PvP, as well as this origin trait for you right here. So with all of the Pale Heart weapons, of course, we got the dealer's choice origin trait, so the final blows with this weapon grant a small amount of super energy. Equipping multiple weapons from the Pale Heart increase this effect, so if we have on a bunch of different weapons, no hesitation, the call, this, as well as our heavy pro memoria, something like that, we're getting a good little bit of chunk of that super energy for every defeat we get. So we are going to start off inside of the PvE realm. Definitely has way better perks in my opinion, especially with this season having that expanding abyss on our artifact, where we get that nice juicy 35% increase in damage to weakened targets. This thing with the void damage is able to have that 35% damage, so we are able to juice it with the third and fourth column. As for that intrinsic masterwork, I went with stability on this bad boy because I was really having that flinch happen inside of the PvE PvP realm on this thing. It seems like the changes with snipers with that flinch was absolutely disgusting, so having a little bit extra stability on this bad boy felt just right. Starting us out for barrels, like I said, I want to build this out for stability for sure, so I went with the polygonal rifling. Has that nice highest stability plus for us. You could go with something like small bore if you want a little bit of extra range as well, but this felt the best in my personal opinion. Next on the list is our magazine. Tactical mag is always what I go with, or appended in this slot. Appended, we're only getting one more shot inside of the magazine compared to tactical, so we're getting 7 instead of 6 shots. But all of these stats with this that get the stability reload are going down, so that is why I went with tactical instead of reload. For the third column, our first trait that I'm going with, and definitely what juices our DPS in my opinion the most, is rewind rounds. Right here we have the most potential for shots off on a certain magazine, so when we have an empty magazine it refills based on the number of hits that we have before, so we're using this in combination with precision instrument for that really juicy DPS damage. Second option for me is reconstruction, another way to overflow your magazine. Not that rewind rounds overflows in all seriousness, but it reloads from 0, so it's basically the same thing. Reconstruction, we're getting that overflow up to double capacity, so we can get like a 12-14 shots at once with this reconstruction, but with rewind rounds we're getting all the way up to like 18-19, so feels way better in my opinion than reconstruction, but you do have to worry about missing your shots with that rewind rounds. Fourth column, first option is that precision instrument. Like I said, allows us to juice that DPS even more. With that, dealing damage gives us increased to precision damage, so as long as we're hitting our shots with this, we're going to be able to do a lot more damage with this weapon. Another option you could go with, damaging rank and file combatants, so those red bar enemies, increases damage against more powerful ones. Powerful shots consume fewer stacks, so just doing damage on those red bar enemies allow us to stack up a little damage buff on some of those other enemies. Especially this is nice when we have that reconstruction on, we're allowed to put out a little bit more of that DPS, but I still think rewind with that precision instrument is easily the best combination that you can go for DPS. And last but certainly not least, if you are having trouble with that recoil and damage that we're getting, go with box breathing. Aiming this weapon for a short time grants us range and precision damage that resets after firing or exiting the zoom, so this in my opinion feels nice if you are just zoomed in consistently. Feels good with rewind or the reconstruction, but like I said again, I would go with rewind rounds with that precision instrument. giving this thing, especially this season, a good 4.5, 4.6 out of 5 for the PvE realm. Lots of potential for DPS with this season and the expanding abyss, but with the precision instrument as well as the rewind rounds, we'll be able to get some good DPS on this thing. So that is what I would go with for the PvE realm. Now when we move on to PvP, like I said, I personally am not a fan of this with that 46 zoom, but some people really love this, the adaptive frame with that 46 zoom, but I personally visually can't get used to it. For me, I went with range as our intrinsic masterwork. Having this at 78 range, the aim assist feels very crispy on it. The higher the range on snipers, the more stickiness that this bad boy has when you are aiming at those guardians. As for our perks on this bad boy, like I said, we're building this out for range, getting it to about 80 on this. Small bore is our best option for barrels. If you do want to get it all the way up to that 81, you could go with hammer forged rifling, but you are losing 7 in stability, which brings us all the way down to 44 in stability, so that is totally up to you. But that flinch in general for snipers in the Crucible is disgusting. Akira's rounds is our option right here for our magazine, gives us that plus 10 to range, allowing us to have that 80, like I said, for that little bit of extra aim assist. Inside of the third column, this is our first option for y'all. Not as many options in this column in the PvP realm as there was in PvE, but opening shot feels nice and crispy. We get that accuracy and range on the opening shot of an attack, so usually, obviously, your first sniper shot is going to be a little bit more crispy and sticky than the second one inside of the magazine, but totally depending on the game mode for Crucible, we're either getting that special ammo transmat or boxes, so totally depends on the situation to get this to proc more often than not, but I love opening shot on my snipers 100%. Literally, in my opinion, that was the only option for our third column with opening shot. Fourth column, we got a couple different options that you could go with. First, with moving target, increased movement speed and target ADS when moving and aiming down sights. So sliding around corners, opening shot plus this, it feels very sticky, like I said, in that 80 range already with the opening shot plus this gives it a very good feel inside of the Crucible. Your last option in the PvP realm for that third, fourth column is the box breathing trait. Aiming the weapon for an improved short period of time without firing grants us that range and precision damage that resets after firing. More for that little bit of range. This with opening shot, you're getting some absolute crazy aim assist and stickiness on it, but personally I like the moving target way better on snipers. I am a movie boy inside of the Crucible, but some of those warlocks that like to stay in the back or titans behind their shields, box breathing might be the way to go for you. So I overall, comparatively to me at least inside of the Crucible, I like those lower zoom weapons, so I would give this thing at like a 3.5, 3.8 maybe if you're really pushing it. But like I said, way better inside of the PvE realm. About a 4.6 out of 5 in that realm, and then like a 3.6 out of 5 for the PvP. But again, if you like that 46, 45 zooms, totally go for it. Get that opening shot moving target, test it out. Either way, very fun weapon to use. Love having this thing in PvE. Feels like the Succession with that rewind plus precision instrument, except for it's a void weapon, and this season we're getting that juicy damage with expanding abyss. So truly appreciate you guys again for coming back to the channel. Hopefully y'all can get these banging weapons crafted from the Pale Heart. Been grinding out a bunch of those overlook missions for y'all to get as many of these crafted as possible, as well as just with the builds that we have with Prismatic is truly almost endless. So make sure to hit that bell and subscribe if you guys haven't already. It is helping the channel out a bunch, helps me out a bunch, plus y'all get those notifications. So again, truly appreciate you guys. I will catch you guys in the next one tomorrow for Reset. Peace.